A wedding is supposed to be the beginning of love, a night of unity, a celebration of families joined together. But imagine this instead: the wedding candles flicker, the music dies down, the feast comes to an end, the bride and groom are led to their chamber. He expects passion, she hides a blade. By morning, the wedding hall is silent, except for the echo of 50 husbands gasping their last breaths. This is not a fairy tale. This is not a ghost story. This is history's most unsettling wedding night, the night when brides became murderers, and a queen, cold, calculating, and merciless, commanded them to strike. Welcome to the story of the queen who forced bridesmaids to kill their husbands. To uncover this grim tale, we must leave behind the comforts of modern life and step into the world of ancient Greece, a time when myth and history were inseparable. The story is said to have taken place in the Bronze Age, more than 3,000 years ago. Greece was not yet a single nation, but a collection of warring kingdoms. Bloodlines meant power. Marriage was rarely about love. Instead, it was about land, control, and alliances. And in this brutal game of dynasties, one family stood at the center: Danas, a king said to have ruled in Libya or Egypt, father to 50 daughters; his twin brother, Aegyptus, father to 50 sons. From birth, the two families were bound by rivalry. And like many rivalries of the ancient world, it did not end with politics. It spilled into marriage. Aegyptus demanded that his 50 sons marry the 50 daughters of Danas, but Danas, suspicious of treachery, saw danger in this union, and so, the daughters prepared for a wedding unlike any other. Picture the scene: the wedding procession begins. 50 brides, veiled and silent, walk down the aisle. 50 grooms wait with pride and hunger in their eyes. The torches blaze. The crowd cheers. The air is thick with wine, song, and expectation, but behind the painted smiles, the brides carry something else: fear, because just before the ceremony, their queen, mother, stepmother, or matriarch, depending on the version, had spoken words that turned their hearts to ice. Your husbands are your enemies. Tonight, you will not surrender to them. Tonight, you will end them. The command was not whispered as suggestion. It was law: obey, or face punishment worse than death. So the daughters obeyed. As the night deepened, the palace fell quiet. Each bride entered her chamber, leading her husband by the hand. The grooms, heavy with wine and lust, expected devotion. Instead, they found betrayal. 50 chambers, 50 blades, 50 moments of shock, struggle, and silence. Some men begged for mercy, some fought back, only to be overpowered by the woman beside them, and some never saw the blade coming at all. By dawn, 50 wedding beds had become slaughter grounds, and the daughters of Danas stood not as wives, but as murderesses. Let's pause for a moment. It is easy to tell this as legend. But imagine, for just a second, the reality. The doors shut, the torches burn low. A young man lies smiling on his bed, dreaming of love. His new wife approaches, trembling, hiding the weapon. He opens his arms. She raises the dagger. The strike is quick, but not always clean. There is screaming. There is blood. There is the sound of betrayal echoing in chamber after chamber. Now multiply that scene by 50 rooms. 50 screams. 50 betrayals. The palace must have felt like a nightmare labyrinth. Some rooms silent, some filled with desperate cries, some with thuds of bodies hitting the floor. And when it was over, the corridors must have smelled of death, heavy with the metallic stench of blood, dripping from silken sheets. It was not one murder, it was a massacre, planned, ordered, carried out by brides on their wedding night. But here lies the strange twist in the story. Not all obeyed. Among the 50 daughters, one, just one, refused to carry out the queen's decree. Her name was Hypermnestra. On her wedding night, she spared her husband, Lynceus, because he honored her plea to respect her virginity. Unlike his brothers, he did not force himself upon her, and in her heart, Hypermnestra could not kill a man who had shown her kindness. This act of mercy, however, enraged the queen, for Hypermnestra had broken the pact of blood. She had defied the will of her mother and the vengeance of her father. Some versions say she was punished, imprisoned, even brought to trial by her own family. Others say her mercy changed the course of dynasties, for Lynceus later became king, and together they founded a bloodline that would shape Greece's future. But whatever the outcome, Hypermnestra's choice left a scar on the story, one woman among 50 who chose love, or at least humanity, over murder. And what of the others, the 49 daughters who obeyed? Greek mythology tells us their punishment was not in this life, but in the next. In the underworld, the Danarids were condemned to an eternal torment. They were given jugs of water and ordered to fill a great basin, but the basin was bottomless, the water leaked away forever, and so, they labored endlessly, forever carrying, forever pouring, forever failing, a punishment as futile as their crime was bloody. Now, the question must be asked, was this story pure myth, or did it echo real events? Some scholars believe the tale reflects an ancient clash between matriarchal and patriarchal tribes. The daughters represented a society where women held power, the forced marriages symbolized the attempt of men to dominate that society, and the murders were a symbolic rebellion, etched into legend as the ultimate act of defiance. Others argue it was a cautionary tale about disobedience, loyalty, and the dangers of betrayal. For the Greeks, myths often blurred the line between history and morality, but whatever the truth, the story remains chilling: a queen who demanded loyalty not through love, but through blood, and daughters who obeyed, even at the cost of their souls. So the next time you hear wedding bells, remember this tale. Remember that not all marriages begin with joy, some begin with betrayal, some begin with blood. 50 brides, 50 daggers, one command from a queen whose cruelty still echoes across time. Soft, chilling whisper: love binds some families, but this family was bound by murder, and that is the story of the queen who forced bridesmaids to kill their husbands.